absolutely tremendous, probably the best food hall I've seen in any show anywhere in the UK. But it really brings to life the best of Scotland, from seafood through to farm products, livestock and produce orientated. And I do think it's absolutely unique. But it delivers a very strong message of Scottish provenance and what makes Scotland very different. I mean, if you look at us as a retailer, we massively overplay on our Scottish sourcing because we believe it's the best quality. You've got some of the best suppliers in the country, and they're supported by some of the best farming businesses in the country. That's something we're very proud to support.
You've articulated a couple of them, but can you perhaps tell us a little bit more about the benefits that Marks and Spencer's derives from being at the Highland Show and the relationship that you have with them?
Yeah, so we go to the show for a number of different reasons. One is very much around engagement with our farmers and growers, and that is a great social opportunity as well as an opportunity to talk business with them. But it's much wider than that. It's also an opportunity for us to bring to life what makes us different as a retailer, the innovation that we see and require within our supply chains to allow us to differentiate from other retailers, but also to engage with our customers and try and create the link between the product that they buy from us and the farmers and growers who are responsible for the great quality raw materials that sit beside our product. We play our part in the education trail as well, which is really important to us. If you look at how we structure our trade stand at the Highland Show, we've got an education element within it. Last year, for example, we had hatching chicks, and we had various features where we were trying to bring to life what the production method was. And it does surprise me when you have conversations with visitors to the stand around what their perceptions were versus the reality. And it's not just kids, it's adults of all ages who have become disconnected from food production, sometimes just because of the circumstances of their upbringing. But as we get more people in cities and less in the rural environment, that's going to become a bigger issue unless we collectively work together to address it. That's one of the reasons that the Highland Show and other agricultural shows are important, because it allows us try and do our bit to articulate the great stories and the great activities that go on day in, day out on Scottish and British farms that make the raw material that they produce exceptional quality, great value, and it's what allows us to differentiate our food offer to our customers.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And it kind of brings me on, we're asking the question why a lot in this series of podcasts. Why do people love the Highland Show so much? Why do people support the work of RHET and the Royal Highland Society? And I guess the question here is why do you think it is so important that consumers understand the provenance of their food and where it comes from and the processes that go on within the countryside to produce that food?
Well, I think it's never been more important to try and connect consumers with farming and primary production and processing. There is a massive disconnect. You only have to follow some of the social media chatter around food, and not just in the UK, but much wider. So I think any forum where you can bring people together and you can have the opportunity of explaining what food production actually is, the steps that farmers and growers go to every day to deliver the best quality product that they can, the steps that our processing partners and retailers like M&S go to deliver innovative products that give customers real choice, real value, but importantly, real quality, I don't think can be underestimated. We're probably in an era now, as we live through the current lockdown, where for the first time for a long time you're seeing consumers really starting to question where their food's produced, and you're hearing more about food security, and I think that we will see a continuation of that interest and that requirement for shorter supply chains, more locally sourced, definitely supporting British and clearly supporting Scottish in the context of Scottish customers, I think will be an ongoing requirement. So I think the opportunity for the Highland Show has probably never been greater to be the focal point for bringing those discussions together and demonstrating what a new, efficient, effective supply chain that gives great food security, great food safety and outstanding quality should be part of the mantra.
Yes, you're absolutely right. It's coming through again and again, and when we're speaking to people that there's been such a huge resurgence in support for provenance and knowing where your food comes from and loyalty to producers who are doing all of the right things in terms of traceability and animal welfare. And I very much believe and hope that will continue. And of course, at the moment in the media, there's a lot going on with regard to potential imports of food that could be produced using methods that are not currently legal or acceptable in this country. So I think probably listeners would love to hear from you about the Marks and Spencer's commitment going forward to the UK farmers and growers and producers who are adhering to the very best in terms of environmental and animal welfare standards.
Yeah, and listen, I fully understand the debate that's going on at the moment, but I simply want to reiterate the message that my managing director, Stuart Machin, articulated very clearly when he wrote to the presidents of the UK's farming unions. And that is that M&S has been well served by its British select farms and nearly 2,500 of them being in Scotland. We see no reason to change that policy. Quality and ensuring that we don't let the customer down is at the very heart of our sourcing decisions. And as I articulated earlier, I think we've now got a consumer mindset which is expecting a brand like M&S to do the right thing and source British and Scottish wherever we can, and we don't see any reason to change that.
Our thanks again to Steve from Marks and Spencer's for taking the time to speak with us. It's really good to get reassurance of an ongoing commitment to the 2,500 select farmers and growers in Scotland. And Marks and Spencer's will, as Steve says, do the right thing. That's nearly it for this episode. But one last area we're going to look at is supply chains and procurement for what's often called the public plate. So that's meals that are paid for out of taxation in places like schools and hospitals. It's another area where RHASS play a huge role and work in partnership with organisations including Food for Life Scotland to shorten supply chains and get quality, healthy, local Scottish produce into schools.
I'm Margaret Gilmour. I'm the Senior Partnerships Manager with the Food for Life programme, which is a flagship programme of the Soil Association Scotland. And my job is to go out and create relationships and make connections with the public sector, mainly schools throughout Scotland, and get people to sign up and adopt our programme. And by doing so, have fantastic meals on the plate that benefit not only the health of the people who are eating them, but the local economy, the environment and our planet in general, just to make the world a better place.
So would it be correct then if I was to summarise the Food for Life programme as being about promoting healthy, promoting local economies, promoting environmental sustainability and getting to people to think about all of those things when they're sourcing food for the plates of school children?
Yeah, absolutely. And the programme is funded by the Scottish Government through the Rural Economy Directorate. Fergus Ewing, who's Cabinet Secretary for the Rural Economy. And the ambition 2030 to double the amount of sales of Scottish and local produce before 2030 is part of our ambition as well. So the meals that are being served through the public plate, we are encouraging more spend on Scottish and local produce.
So that will be the music to the ears of many of our listeners. Coming on to the Royal Highland Show, now very sadly, as we know, it's not taking place this year because of COVID. But were it taking place, what would have been your plans for how you engage with the show for the Food for Life campaign?
So we were really excited this year to be inviting along some of our award holders in Scotland to showcase in a live kitchen demonstrating food which would be freshly prepared, Scottish, local, complying with our Food for Life principles, but also complying with the nutritional regulations that exist within school meals. To be able to highlight to people in general just how fantastic school meals in Scotland are.
All of us are operating within very changed times. Obviously, the schools are not currently open as we record this episode of the podcast. So how has the Food for Life programme had to adapt over the last few weeks with under the conditions of COVID?
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, our award holders, of which there are 14 local authorities at the moment, you know, they had to go into crisis mode and make sure that people were being fed and do whatever it took to ensure that particularly free entitled pupils were receiving food. Our focus has been very much in working with our award holders and with all local authorities right from the start of the crisis to be there to be able to offer advice and support, menu ideas, recipe ideas, things that are easy to cook in the home with the family, and also working on developing things for the future which will be easier served and prepared and consumed when schools go back, because the routines will be different, the flow of the school will be different, there will be so many things that will be different, but we're getting on the front foot and we're starting to think about what we can do to ensure that there's still going to be good, nutritious, healthy, freshly prepared and Scottish food on the plate, but in a way that will be practical, simple and easier for the caterer to manage in an operational setting.
Thanks so much to Margaret, and thank you to all of our other guests this episode. Steven Maclean from Marks & Spencer's, teacher Alison Bankier, our urban family Diane, Colin, Elizabeth and Charlie, and Caroline Miller from GoRural. As we said at the start of the episode, it's Highland Show week this week. We know that could be pretty bleak for many of you to think about while we're all stuck at home. So we wanted to draw your attention to a campaign being run jointly this week by RSABI, RHASS and other supporters, including ourselves. The ask is really pretty simple. On the 18th of June, so that's this coming Thursday, just pick up the phone, make a call to someone you might not have spoken to for a while, or somebody you might see at the Highland Show but won't, of course, catch up with this year. I'm pretty sure it'll help you, and it'll certainly help the person you're talking to as well. Ideally, they'd love us to phone 5 people, but even if you can just phone 1, that surely will make a difference. To support the campaign and show you've taken part, just post on social media with the hashtags KeepTalking and Phone5. Episode 2 of this series of OnFARM with RHASS was all about the importance of talking. We asked 2 old friends to make exactly this kind of catch-up phone call, and we recorded it for the show. Here it is again, and hopefully it will inspire you to make your own calls.
Hi, Steenie Bop, how are you? I'm good, thank you. Trying to multitask a little bit too much though. I'm just like, oh, please don't let the phone go.
Oh, it's good to see you, chick.
I'm knackered. I've been up all night because we're on full watch.
Oh, how exciting.
So I think I went to bed at 2:30 or something, and it's still no full this morning, so I'm shattered already.
Is she waxed up and everything, I take it?
I think she'll be tonight or tomorrow, possibly. So, yeah, it's all good. So how are you?
I'm good, yeah, I'm so excited about your foal. Who's this? Is this Lily?
No, this is just the wee broodmare, the wee pony broodmare. Which, incidentally, would have gone to the Highland Show had it been on.
I feel sorry for all those people who, you spend all year getting your horse or cattle beast or whatever ready, and then no show. Just devastating.
I know.
Feeling a bit lost.
We'll maybe have to, take the mare and foal round the field and pretend we're at a show or something like that.
You could video her.
Maybe we could have an online, a few showing classes, just to virtual shows and stuff. Because otherwise we won't be doing anything all summer, I don't think.
I will so miss seeing you this year, Steenie Bop.
It's also this year is even quite important that it was, people are trying to start to say, well, let's do something at the end of the year. We will all get through this. We will all get to the other side. And at some point in time, they're going to let us all come together and, hug everyone and have a drink together and raise a glass. And hopefully, we'll get to that point and we'll be able to do that again in the future. And, I can't think of it. We'll definitely be raising a glass of gin sometime soon.
Oh, without a doubt, chick.
Yeah,
it's been so lovely to see you.
Yeah, I know. You too. I know. I know.
I wish I could give you a hug.
Well, give a virtual hug.
Oh, take care and let me know about the foal.
It could be a long week this week.
Oh, if only I lived closer and I was allowed to travel, I'd come and do foal watch for you for a night check.
I'll maybe send you the video link then, and you can sit at 1 a.m. and watch it.
I'll do that. I would do that for you. I'm a bit of a night owl anyway.